Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Let me recognize my colleague, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, the chairperson of the Grosile Constituency Group, the constituents of Grosile. And before I start, I really want you to tell you how I appreciate the fact that so many of you are here tonight. And you need and you deserve to give yourself a round of applause. I want also to recognize the work of the Grosile Constituency Group and our General Secretary, who is responsible for this, what I call this presentation tonight. And to thank Choice TV, and I know there's going to be a rebroadcast on Wednesday, but right now we are streaming live on Choice TV. Thank you very much, Choice TV. My sisters and my brothers, there is a saying from a writer and author that says, there is no room for facts when our minds are occupied by fear. And that is the essence of St. Lucia today. Trying to create an atmosphere of fear, of intimidation, of vindictiveness that will stop the people from St. Lucia from seeing through the cloud and the bad policy and the ignorance that this government is doing. But I want to tell you, they say politics is about perception, but politics is also about facts, about the truth, about what is real. Politics is about people, and politics is about truth, not the politics of bluff, and the politics of showmanship, and the politics of impression. It's the politics of truth and the politics of fact. And I want to tell you that as a party, we will ensure that what we say to you is truthful, what we say to you is factual, and we want to challenge you. I want to challenge you. Anything you hear from our party, I want you to be able to go and check it out and see whether it's right or wrong. And I also want you, anything you hear from the government side, no matter where you hear it, no matter how you hear it, no matter the gloss and the style and the showmanship, I want you to check it out and tell me whether it's facts. Men will write what they want. Men will say what they want. But I want you, really, anything you read or you hear from any government minister or any government surrogate, I want you to check it out. And half of the time, or more than half of the time, or all the time, you will find that it's a bluff, it's a lie, or it's a half-truth. And I want you to check it out. In Grosile, we have several issues that we want to deal with. But that, in detail, is for another show. But I want to talk about two issues. Every day, on your way to Castries, to work, to school, and talking about school, I heard they'll take away your school from you. That, again, is for another show. You find yourself in a traffic jam, in traffic confusion. I want to say to you that if the Labour Party was in government, the road from Grosile to Castries would have been completed, would have been finished, and you would have a better journey into town. Because we had finalized all the money, we'd finalized the designs, we'd finalized everything that would have made that road possible. We would have started with the secondary roads, and then we would have moved to the main highway. And your productive time, the time that you waste on the road, that would have been eliminated. And it's our desire that when we get back into government, we will re-engage the QAT government to ensure that you get your road from Castries to Grosile in quick time. We also have the issue of this secondary school being turned into a sports academy. And we're going to deal with that in detail. We're going to do that in detail. But I want to say to you, what government? Grosile is a growing population. Grosile is a growing set of people. It's the largest concentration of people in the island. And you're taking away a secondary school from Grosile and you're selling people's children all over the place because you say you want to have a project that no one has understood. No one can tell me what is the output, what is the objective of the project that you want to have in Grosile. But I'll tell you what the government should do is the government should improve all the sports programs in all the schools. And from there, because you can't have, and you see, that is the problem. They don't understand people. They don't understand. That's the basic problem. How do you take somebody from Vieux-Fort, from Monrepo, and you bring them to Grosile? So supposing you only have one cricketer, you'll have one cricket school. Doesn't make any sense. But you know, it's the bluff. It's the go movement. It's the thing to dazzle your brain. And as they say, BS baffles brains. But not this time. The people of St. Lucia will not be baffled by BS. So tonight, I want to tell you that the priorities of this government are wrong. What the government concentrates on is wrong. This government is borrowing $500 million. I want you to listen carefully because, as I say, facts matter. $500 million plus 80 million US dollars. That will total about $680 million to build an airport, to upgrade an airport. I want to tell you, the St. Lucia Labour Party believes that the airport ought to be upgraded. We have no issue with that. But we would not have spent from your taxpayers' money and put your children in perpetual debt of $680 million to build an airport in one part of the country. How many tourists come to St. Lucia because you have a nice airport? When you think of going to New York or to Canada for vacation, you go there because you want to go in a nice airport? But you know, that's the bluff. That's the bluff. So we're saying to you, and they speak about young people. And I'm talking to young people tonight. Regardless of the pictures that they take with you in Carnival, when they leave you at the parties and the fetes, you will have a debt of $500 million on your back, and the pictures that they take with you will long go. These pictures will fade. Tonight, I want to tell you that this debt is not my debt. It's not Ernest Hiller's debt. It's not even your debt. It's the debt of the young people of St. Lucia. And the Labour Party had put together an arrangement called a public-private partnership, where we would have had the same airports. We would not have spent $500 million, we would have upgraded the airport. We had a 30-year plan for the airport. We had the best airport developers in the world had tendered for PPP so we could get the same airport for half the price and without putting that debt on you and your children. I'll tell you something. Let me tell you what $500 million can do for you. I want you to keep it in focus. What $500 million can do for you, for your family, for your children, and for your children yet to be born. $500 million could build the North-South Link Road. It could build the Castries bypass. It could build a cruise port. It could build the administrative complex in the south. It could build the Grosley Highway. And it could build affordable housing for you. That's only $300 million. You have $200 million left still. The other $100 million could complete both hospitals. It could give you universal health care. That's $100 million. So that's 400. You still have $100 million left. 50 million of that 100 million could be used for education. Could be used to repair, if not all the schools, but most of the schools. It could give your children laptops. And it could give your children school books. And it could help you pay your CXC fees if you couldn't afford. That $50 million could do that. And the other 50 million could have been used for disaster preparedness. And if you look at the IMF report, it will say to you that they have urged the government to put some money aside for disaster preparedness. These are one set of projects that the $500 million debt would do for you, the people of St. Lucia. We could use the $500 million, and if you want to use it in another area, you could build 3,000 houses with $500 million over a period of 8 to 10 years. You could build 3,000 houses. You could employ over 3,000 construction workers. You could ensure that at least in every part of this country there would have been employment. You could take care of all the healthcare needs of the country. You could upgrade all the health centers. You could complete both hospitals. You could upgrade the polyclinic in Grosley to a regional hospital. You could do all that with $500 million. But you take $500 million and you put it in one project because you do not want to go through a proper procurement. You do not want accountability. You want to be able to choose your own contractors. You want to be able to give direct awards. You want to be able to do all that only because you want to make your friends, your family, and your foreigners rich. But I'll tell you something. When we get into government, we are going to review all the arrangements as they deal with this money that they're borrowing for the airport. We are going to review all these arrangements. We are not in the business of threats. We're not getting involved in threats. We don't threaten anybody. But I can tell you, we are going to review all these arrangements, and if there is need for justice, justice shall be done. My sisters and my brothers, there was a big sword turning ceremony, and I've warned you before. You just start to see and hear sword turning ceremonies. I told you so. And you know, a lot of things I told you, probably you forget, but they've come to pass. And more of them will come to pass. You just start to see sword turning. You will see sword turning. They won't have no sun in St. Lucia again. Sword turning, just that. So a few weeks ago, you saw sword turning in Grosile, in Cap Estate. And you heard St. Lucia is an investment paradise. And this golf course is going to bring hundreds and thousands of visitors. And how it's because of the hard work of the government this golf course was built. And this is just the beginning. We're going to add 4,000 rooms. And tomorrow we're going to open hotel in Grosile. And they even said they're going to build a cruise port in Ancillary. Nobody told you. Nobody told you. Nobody told you that your NIC money was involved in that development. And if it was such, it was a no-brainer. It was money, it was this and that. Why couldn't they tell you during the sword turning, even after he had bent his back and come up, he could have said to you, you know, there's an NIC investment in this project. Nobody told you. I had a press conference, and you may have forgotten. I had a press conference, and I said, where are you getting this money from? You may have forgotten that, but I asked this question. Nobody answered. The question was asked again. And some civil servants, and I have an issue with civil servants getting involved in trying to defend nonsense that is done by this government. Civil servants should maintain their integrity and do not compromise themselves on the altar of political sacrifice for the government. So you heard a civil servant come and give you a story. What I call prose composition. That was not good enough. We continued. But the NIC, comrades, is not a private company. They said to you that they could not disclose the details of the loan because the NIC had a financial arrangement, and you cannot bring financial arrangements in public. That is absolute nonsense. The NIC money is your money. And further, NIC is compulsory. Once you work in St. Lucia, you must pay the NIC. Both the workers and the employers. And I'm surprised I have not heard the employers speak about that. Because they also contribute to the NIC. And they must not keep quiet. They must speak about it. So we said to the government, where is the information on the money, the NIC money, the pensioners' money? And NIC is a serious organization. NIC has no end. And you must remember that. NIC will end when the world ends. I don't think you've taken that into consideration. When they tell you they can't disclose these things in public, you must understand, NIC has no end. Once you're on the earth, once St. Lucia exists, there'll be an NIC. There is no institution in St. Lucia that is as important as the NIC. And it hurt my heart when I heard a man who knows better. I know he knows better. When I heard him say that don't worry, it's only 1.5% of the money. My brothers and my sisters, NIC, as we speak, at the end of 2017, June 2017, the government had borrowed $105 million from the NIC, plus $52 million. That's at the end of June 2017. At the end of June 2016, the government had borrowed $78 million from MIC. So between 2016 and 2017, they had borrowed about 30-something million dollars from the NIC. And they owed NIC $36 million in 2016. And in 2017, June, they owed them $52 million. And listen to that. And out of that, 35% of that was what they call impaired. That means they were not sure if they would get their money back. And I challenge anybody. I challenge any man, jack, man, woman, boy, girl, child to tell me that's not true. 35% of the debt due to NIC, what the accountant calls accounts receivable, was 35% of it was impaired. But the government tells you they can give $27.5 million for golf. They tell you it's secret. They tell you nobody must know. They tell you you must trust them. And instead of dealing with the issue, you have some surrogates talking about Blue Coral building. Comrades, you can see Blue Coral building. You can see it. And if push comes to shove, the people who contribute to NIC can use the Blue Coral building for something else. But can you see any cabot or babot or bobot? That is a pie in the sky. That is hope. That is hope. But the Blue Coral is reality. It's a building on the ground. It's a building you can see. So as I tell you, check the facts. Because the favorite thing is, y'all did the same. Y'all did it too. Check the facts, my sisters and my brothers. So we are saying, what are the details of that loan to Cabot? First of all, they use the word loan and investment interchangeably. One day they say loan, and next day they say investment. There's a basic difference, and I don't profess to be bright, but I know a few things. There's a basic difference between a loan and an investment. But they use it, the investment alone, the investment alone. That's to mama guy you. Use big words to get you going. For you to forget the essence of the argument. So they say that is a loan. And they tell you, don't worry, because the interest that we get on that loan is higher than the return of investment. But you can read the entire document and you will never find what is the rate of interest on that loan. Read all the reports from all the directors and all the chairpersons, and they will never tell you, and all the big brains they have on that board, tell them to show you in the document what is the rate of interest on that loan. But they want to make you believe, trust them, that the return is higher than the rate of interest you get in a bank, all kinds of things. But very easy, very easy. The rate of interest is, tell us the percent. You don't have to go, you haven't got to be any financial analyst or any big chartered accountant to say that. What is the rate of interest? And they say, trust me, the return on investment is higher. Up to this day, they've never told you what is the return of investment. Where are the cash flow statements? Where's the profitability of the company? Where's the marketing plan? So you must just trust them with your $27 million. Just trust them. When will a company make a profit? And listen to the biggest joke of it all. They tell you that the loan will be repaid in 12 years, but they never tell you from what year will it start. But that's the mama guy. That's the bluff. I'm a financial guru. I'm this and that. So I tell you, you must listen. Don't listen to these Labour Party fellas. Don't listen to the Labour Party narrative. The Labour Party is speaking the truth. In the document that you have released, tell us, when will you start repayments on that loan? You say it will be repaid in 12 years. When will you start? On the 11th year? How will the loan be repaid? Will it be repaid in monthly installments? Will it be paid lump sum? Will it be paid annually? No information. Just take it from them. That is a good investment, and the loan will be repaid in 12 years. Then they tell you, we have security. We have 360 acres of land, and that land will go in the bank, in the land bank of the NIC. But just before, a few sentences before, they told you that this project is not only about land and a golf course, you know. This project is about buildings, about suites, about luxury apartments. But you say you have the land. So what will you do with the suites? Now you think they're going to like me? What will you do with the suites? It's only about land. You'll put in the land bank in a high, high density area. So, so no problem. But you just said before that you're going to have buildings on it. So you'll take a land, and what you'll do with the buildings? Questions. And you must ask them that, Don't let them intimidate you. Ask them that, my brothers and sisters. So they tell you they have security for all the land. All the land. We have good security. We valued the land. And the only reason why we invested in there, because we did not want the land to be sold to foreigners. But comrades, if the investor had so much money, he would just buy his land. He would just buy it because he doesn't receive a ship. And you say a bank wanted to sell it, so you had to get involved quickly. But now let me tell you something. Let me just divert a little bit. This Labour Party has nothing against foreign investment. I want to say that again. We have nothing against foreign investment. And let me make a bold statement. The most foreign investment comes to St. Lucia when the Labour Party is in power. Check it out. Check it out. Royalton Hotel, Harbour Club Hotel. When I was the Minister of Tourism, 6 hotels was built in St. Lucia when I was Minister of Tourism. And I can say that without fear. Find out how many hotels were built in St. Lucia when there was another Minister of Tourism. So, we have nothing against foreign investments. But I want to ask another question. How will the project be financed? Who are the other shareholders? So that means the other shareholders will come into the project with no security, because you have taken all the security for $27 million. My sisters and my brothers, you heard the boast that there's another golf course being built in St. Lucia, another golf course. But there was one golf course that did not make profit. And there's a guy called Nadoni. I can call his name because he's dead. He invested in a golf course. And you know what he said to me? He said to me, Philip, when I came here, I was a billionaire. Now I'm a millionaire because of the golf course. Golf courses are expensive ventures. Golf courses, they are specialized business. But you put the people's money in that, and there's another golf course just a few yards down the road. I want to know, I get involved in that, say by Go Maison. Not me. Not me. I get involved in that. I want to ask you, are you giving the other golf course competition? Are the owners of the other golf course happy that you did that? But I tell you that there is a secret. Then you say, then when St. Lucians speak about investment in foreign companies, you say, no. We invest in foreign companies alone. Also, my sisters, my brothers, these guys must have some more respect. The NIC invests on the stock markets. The NIC invests in the stock exchange. They invest in companies that information on these companies is daily. But you compare that with putting your money in a company that you haven't even shown the public an opening balance sheet. Think about it. Where is the opening balance sheet for the company that you put your money in? Where are the cash flows? Where are the projections? When will it make profit? When will the loan start to be repaid? And you hide behind it and you say, don't worry, this is only 2.5% of your total investment portfolio. But I'll tell you something, my sisters and my brothers. The NIC is what the Americans call Social Security and the English call pension fund. These institutions, the current financial statements are important, but the more important document is the actuarial analysis. That is where the secret is. That's the devil in the details. And of all the discussion, nobody ever told you about the actuarial analysis of the NIC. But let me tell you, and I want to read to you, and I want to challenge them. I want to challenge them because I know the surrogates will begin to attack me, as usual. But my back large, and want you to defend me, I okay. I want to read to you what the actuarial analysis says about the NIC. And I want anybody to challenge me and tell me that is not true. Here is what it says. St. Lucia has an aging population, and that will have an impact on the ratio of workers to retired people. Young people, listen to that. The working population will decrease. The NIC is a relatively young organization. The reserve of the long-term branch will increase in absolute value. Listen carefully. The reserve of the long-term branch, that is what they have in reserve. That's what they were boasting about until you only use 2.5% of it. Will increase in absolute value until 2034. Now, if you're thinking about now, you think 2044 is a long way away. I'll die by that time. But think about the young people that you're taking pictures with. Where will they be in 2044? They'll be working. in 2034. And then it is projected to decrease. The money in the NIC will decrease and will be exhausted by the year 2050. 2050, it will be exhausted by the year 2050, which is 40 years from now. 40 years from now, sorry, 40 years from now. So, I'll tell you what, all of us here will be dead. All right, I'll be dead. So I spoke for myself. I'll be dead. But the young people inside here, 30 years from now, they'll be alive. So they're the ones. And that challenge is to them with the pictures they're taking of them. The pictures on the Mama Guy and the Bluff. That's for them. And I challenge them to say that's not true. In 2050, the long-term branch will be exhausted. Now, listen to the challenges that we have in government. And we are a responsible government, so we'll take on the challenge. And I want to read, these are not my words. Section 20 of the NIC Act calls for the actuarial review. They must do it. The last one was in June 2015. Here's what it says. It says the NIC should give consideration to a potential increase in the contribution rate. It further says the suggestion is they should increase the contribution ratio each year until 2051 to a rate of 18.75%, of which 17.5% would be devoted to the long-term branch. So they're saying, and employers who are remaining quiet, the employers who are remaining quiet, some of them who see no evil, who hear no evil, I want to challenge them. I want to challenge the Chamber of Commerce. Because at some point, as a member of the Chamber of Commerce, I want to challenge them to tell me if they are not concerned with the actual report on the NIC. And it says, when they increase it by 18.75%, 17.5% should be devoted to the long-term branch, and it will extend the sustainability of the NIC by 16 years. So if they do that, the NIC will be extended. The money will not run short by 2066. And you're telling me you don't want people to talk about that? You say, trust me. You say, we've done all the work. Don't show us any figures. Trust me. That is true. My sisters and my brothers, while the Labour Party is functioning and I lead it, we will not allow this NIC thing to die. The same way, we are not going to allow the Pajora letter to die. The same way, we are not going to allow the CIP and the range up to today, up to this very second. The government has not told us what the settlement with range was. Up to today, they haven't told us that. My sisters and my brothers, in conclusion, A government of the Labour Party will prioritize its policies. We make no apologies for putting the people of St. Lucia first. We will pay special attention to the young people of St. Lucia, not by taking pictures of them, but by ensuring that there is a youth economy where young people will be engaged, young people will be able to go into the businesses that they like, and we will ensure that we finance these institutions so that young entrepreneurs will be able to develop and create employment for themselves and their families. We do not apologize for seeing about the many instead of the few. We make no apologies for that. We make no apologies for defending the workers of St. Lucia. We make no apologies for saying that all St. Lucians must benefit for their hard work and their sacrifice. And our government will be a government of performance, a government of integrity, a government that will not accept corruption, and a government for the many and not the few. I thank you.